Muted Colors, Part 2 ending. I let it happen unknowingly, call me stupid. I was much younger. It was such an affair down for her. She was good looking with the curves on right places. The guy was overweight, with skin problems and bad teeth. Even his boots were sorry for him for his flat feet and weight. You could see that when he was walking towards you, swinging side to side. A week before my wife slept with him, we introduced the OM to one of our female friends, without any objection from my wife. She, the friend of ours, was just dumped by her boyfriend. She needed to cheer up quick. She was a fine girl, comparable to my wife with more attractive looks, and girlfriend being more easygoing, comforting. She deserved much better, but bastard was all we had available at the time. After meeting him, she said, "Come on guys, I am not that desperate." Our female friend had never considered to meet him again. I took the other man as a joke at first. I thought my disturbed girl did something without much consideration about anything again. She said initially that what they did was not that important. I almost felt sorry for the bastard for involving with her. About for their first bonding, she said, "It felt right." I learned what it means much later. I was stupid, still I am. My wife's psychologist said that I have codependency issues too. I've just dropped my counselor recently. It is hard to find the right one here. Got it. I saw it before, but this time I confused. I wish I could say where I am from for a better perspective and probably get more help coming from my locals for counselors, etc. This is one thing that I am avoiding revealing for the sake of my anonymity. There are some things in my story that if I give away, my wife and I will be easily identified. I am trying to avoid that. I had put a hold on talking about our problems for a while until we are more able to do it because I was drinking heavily. I kicked her out to call her and the kids next day. Kids shouldn't have had that, and my wife was having health problems. She had to hospitalized for a serious gut infection for a week. Time has come. We sat to talk last weekend days after we put the kids to sleep. Friday night, she revealed, "There was one more guy that I didn't know," after I pressured her saying that it is obvious. "Why are you still denying? I was just fishing and I had a catch." Said it comes, after more pressure she spells one more guy. Monday night, without much pressure, she came out with 2 more. She had 6 guys that she slept with as it stands now. All from about 17 to 15 years ago, but I am learning about them now. Talk about D-Day starts when you learn it, not when it happened. There is not much left to say for me, to me. Only good may come out from this, maybe the others may find some lessons from my story. Leave it, don't live in a lie, only bad comes out of it. Later kids are added to it, they hurt and they are crippled for life too. Leave especially you are in the early years of your relationship. I am writing this for the record. Last night, being a Saturday night, was a designated talking night. She started as saying that there are no more secrets left that I don't know and she is very sorry about things she had done. After saying that, in half an hour, she told me that she had 2 other guys she had slept with. They come in 2, I don't know why. Her reason for lying about one of those guys is ridiculous. He was one of her many exes. I was asking her all along, is there anyone else that I don't know? I knew him all right, as her ex, I met him once long time ago. She said she didn't mention that she had slept with him into 3rd year of our marriage, because he was not a new guy. Should I take this to lame excuses subject? She is doing a terrible job to even make it for the sake of kids. I feel like an interrogation officer. It is a new hobby of mine. If you don't involve your feelings while working, it is quite rewarding. There are many techniques before going for polygraph route. It helps to an apprentice like me to have a subject as having the opposite of a poker face. I need to tell the story about the last OM she revealed 2 days ago. It was the last she told me about, but it was the first OM she had slept after we became lovers. Now it is the most hurting because of the nature of that affair, if it can be called an affair. It happened before we were married. It was roughly about a year after we met and become lovers and about 5 months before we married. For all of her other affairs it could be said that we were having marital problems. Our wife and OM had some connection, but for this first one there was not such excuses. Like I said before, during those days she was crazy about me. She couldn't stand a day without seeing me. I had to go away for a week. When I came back, she was like she was in the hell for a week, and now Jesus himself, me, was taking her back to heaven. She was deeply in love with me, seriously. She had slept with the other guy when she was feeling like that for me. No, it did not happen when I was away. One day she goes to visit a male friend of hers for years, a couple blocks away from her home. Friend has a long-term girlfriend. That day girlfriend has left him and he is really depressed. My wife says that she does not remember much, but here are the things she remembers. We were sitting on the floor. He was sad about his girlfriend. Not long after he started asking me to be sleeping with him. Nothing else, no mention of becoming boyfriend and girlfriend, just bonding right there. No mention of him having any feeling towards me other than wanting to be sleeping with me. He said just bonding once right now is all he wants because he hopes to get back with his girlfriend, and he knows that I am very deeply in love with my lower, sweet and sour. I said to him I don't want to do it. More than once, I really didn't want to do it. I just wanted to leave. It was getting really uncomfortable. Next thing I remember, we are laying on the floor, naked, maybe a kiss but not much foreplay. He puts a condom and starts doing me in missionary. Then we continue on our sides, and back to missionary again. I don't enjoy it at all. I look into my watch and ask him, will it take longer? Finish it already, please. He is surprised and says okay, I am coming soon. But not sure if he really did after what I said. I didn't feel anything physical, didn't want to do it. And I was not looking for any extra attention from him by letting him sleep with me. I didn't like it. When I am dressing up, he asked about you. I told him that I am in love with sweet and sour. If he proposes to me, I am going to marry him. Then I left, came home, phoned you, and we had one of our long, sweet talks on the phone, maybe for an hour. I didn't see or talk to him after that. He didn't try to contact me either. I don't know why I did it. It was like giving a favor to a friend. I knew it was wrong, so I hid it from you. Around that episode, we were very close. We were seeing each other daily, having bonding regularly. It was honeymoon time, before marriage. She was in fog with me. If she would say, I found him attractive, and for a moment I gave into my animal side in the heat of the moment, and I enjoyed the physical part of it, or the attention I received, I would understand, it would make sense, it would be more real. For some of her other affairs she freely admitted that it was just monkey wild time. Or she admitted that she liked the attention part from another so I believe her when she says that I didn't want it, get or enjoyed anything from this one. A week ago, she said that boy in college whom he drooled around my wife but panicked around me, they shared a kiss. Yes, wife says it was just a kiss. No divorce yet. Next week she is moving to our new home. I have my home office in my parents' home and I can stay there too, but will I be with her, move to the new place? Why not? I am one stupid, spineless shell of a man, empty inside. Why not? We took our boy to a children's psychologist, or a pedagogue as we call it here. He is doing well, but he is smart and he senses that something is not right. On our last session, I was really down and explained to her that I am in deep depression and on medication. We basically said that, and she saw that it is the most negative influence in my boy's life. We had to tell her after her questioning that my wife was a serial cheater and liar. Pedagogue then preached us, rightfully, that my boy in his very tender ages and we should make him our priority. Child psychologist used to tell us when to come back after every session. This time she didn't do that. I reminded that to her secretary, and for the last 2 weeks we still waiting for a callback. I guess we are too much even for the professionals. My counselor has switched to taking care of my wife, and because of some conflict of interest or some technicality, he asked us which one of us would like to continue with him because he should not be treating both of us. Now my wife is counseled by him and I am waiting for the new counselor to arrive next month. I need to stop drinking or I'll be gone soon. I'll be 47 soon. As being a musician before, I used my liver hard when I was younger. I am having the signs of oncoming diabetes. I should quit and I will. Sometimes I find myself sitting on the armchair and staring to the wall for a very long time. Kids take notice and go to their own way. I used to be very entertaining and active for my kids. My wife is very loving to me right now. I am trying to keep myself anonymous, so I'm hiding where I am from. My friends and myself are pretty much an example of regular, educated people who are living in cities, for my age. For the younger people here, I can say that any 16-year-old sophomore girl has more experience already than I will ever have around here today. Still, my wife would make any of them look weak. I just told you what I learned a week ago. 2 weeks ago, there was something else that I learned. 10 years ago, when we are back to our home country, my wife's old friends threw a party. I met with many of her friends from past that I heard but never met, since we were away. In that party I spent a lot of time talking to one of her old friends about some technical issue relating to his new business endeavor. I provided him with a lot of engineering solutions with his problems. That party was 10 years ago. 2 weeks ago, after much questioning of everything, she said that friend of hers that I clicked in that party and the host of that party, guess what? Those two had kissed my wife. That night, 10 years ago, I didn't know that, but my wife and those two guys were sharing more than I knew and probably made a clown of myself. My wife says now that it was even before we met and they just kissed, nothing else. Then why I feel like stupid about that night. I have nobody to talk to. I hinted my one very good friend for 27 years about what am I going through, and we ended up with me advising him about the new psycho girl who just met, which he is already having problems with, and we didn't share anything about what is going on in between me and my wife. Men cannot console each or talk about cheating, period. I remember him losing his 15-year-long girlfriend after her affair about 5 years ago, and I remember myself steering away from the subject. Just to give you an example, my wife and I enjoyed eating and cooking, took it to the extent that we can make our own miso paste or soy sauce from raw soybeans, or make our own cheese, try at least. Now, after I learned that she had slept with 4 guys during her last trip to Asia, I cannot stand the smell of any Asian food. No more soy sauce for me. With or without her, there goes a big part of my existence. Just an example. I have not left with much to not to remind me of her in every 10 minutes. So, I could move on alone. I wish it would be as easy as just losing her. I guess I need to find a way to accept her as she is, find some peace in that understanding, and move on without her, and get my soy sauce back. Here is my update for now. It is late. I am separated from my kids, our home, my best friend, and my love, tonight. I am drunk and drugged myself so that I'd be in half coma soon. I wish I won't wake up again. but I know and I make sure that it won't happen. I'll be up tomorrow. Early I'll pick my kids from my wife's home, take the older one to school, and life will go on. Hell, I am so ready to go to Tibet and lose myself in a cave. Few months later, wife and I are divorcing. We both have our lawyers working on it. Anyways, we put the Christmas tree up a little late last night. Wife, 2 kids, and I were putting on the ornaments. My 5-year-old singing all the Christmas songs he knows, and I was putting aside everything, and I was trying to find a little coziness during one of our last times as a family together. Mostly for my kids. Tree was done, kids and I were watching the lights, ornaments, and talking about Santa and his magic. Wife started to show her concern about me staying the night in our home. It is legally my home and that's where I am supposed to sleep. Still, I first said her, please, this is for kids. Then I decided to leave. I tried to make it easy on my kids, but my 5-year-old boy wanted to come with me no matter what. Then I realized that wife didn't want to deal with kids anyways, and she was okay with me and kids are leaving. Because she had her work in mind, she brought home and couldn't deal with kids. Kids and I could be sitting around the tree and then go to bed. Wife has her own single bed. Soon and wife could go to another room and do whatever she wants to do with her computer, but she said no. She wanted me out, and since she couldn't take care of the kids, they had to leave with me too. At the end, we put up the tree, and kids and I had to leave home after that. Such a messed up memory for my kids. Merry Christmas, everybody. Until about a year ago, I used to believe that she was a decent person. To put it simply, I hadn't come here to bash her. When I read my first posts now that, I can see that I was living in a dream for years. I am looking for a 50-50 shared custody. She wants the full custody of the kids. We both are not asking for anything financial from each other, including alimony. I started cutting down on booze after roller coaster ride ended. I can sleep better without the help of booze and meds. Still, I am far from my regular 3 cans during the weekend days routine. I am looking forward for better days. Still, I am worried for my poor kids. She started looking for a new place for herself to be able to leave me and go to her own way before divorce is finalized. She can leave tomorrow with kids and can do that legally. This is not US. It would put a stress financially on her. Besides, our current home is at walking distance to my boys' school and to my mom's home where I live now and take kids daily during daytime. So, I left before then. Legally I am supposed to keep my kids where they are used to be and physically comfortable. She is not in the fog of an affair. She is permanently crooked. There may not be anyone today, but she may be in bed with someone tomorrow after they just meet and know each other for only hours, as she proved to be capable of before, time and again. I try to cut a slack for her, but the end result is, my kids had to open their presents before Santa's visit and leave home at Christmas night because they were not going to be home in the morning. I was the alpha plus when first we met, and years after that, believe me, I was the guy who made women drool around me even when their boyfriends are right beside them. Boyfriends loved and respected me too. If I can't be a beta in the comfort of my wife of 22 years, then be it so, I'll take it. I don't want to dance in a primitive mating game with a shallow woman for the rest of my life. She had her affairs mostly when I was, in fact, alpha, with mostly gamma men. This is a story about a sick human being, my wife, so regular convention doesn't apply much. I would still be a beta with a healthy woman and able to draw her into me if she was just mentally healthy. My STBXW reads what I write here. She warned me that the Christmas story above is imaginary and she is a great mom, overworks to provide for our kids, and everything will be better when their dad leaves the home. Her version includes that we let the kids open their presents before Christmas because our boy wanted it and we let him to do so. She is right, since I wasn't going to be there in a hectic weekday morning. Christmas mornings are regular business days here. To help with kids, it was going to be a half-assed Christmas morning anyway, so we let them open the presents early. Plus, above story spans on 2 nights, not just Christmas night. 23rd night, we put the 3 up. I had to leave with kids soon after that. And 24th night, I had to leave with kids again, but one changed his mind. Actually, he didn't want anybody to leave, and I left with the younger one. So, I don't get the significance of this, but I have to edit this too. Yes, 2 nights, not just 1. Oh yeah, I had to add that she is a great person. I am teasing you, honey, just smile. I don't know what else to edit. If she wants to give her version of things, she may chime in anytime. I guess the aborted baby was mine, but I'll put another ugly spin on abortion. She has a crush on that gynecologist who performed the abortion, my baby. He is married with kids too. I read that out of her unspoken words during the first days of our reconciliation talks about a year ago. When she started talking about him, you know the way an admiring woman talks about a next OM alpha male. He is smart, understanding, lovable, like how she was planning to take advanced biking classes with him, buying a bike. I didn't mean that I wouldn't like him to suffer the consequences of his mistakes. I may definitely go after him. He has been a figure which we could rely on during the hard times of our 2 pregnancies and was present during my happiest moments, my kids' births. I am a good guy. I like and trust people easily. Now I try to adjust myself to new reality. The doc, like my wife, are not the people who I gave credit for before anymore. I can definitely go after him. Week later, today we gave our lawyers the go-ahead. For the last days, I was combing through our things to separate my things. I came across her letters sent overseas to me from the first days of our marriage from 20 years ago. They are handwritten in real paper, real letters before internet times. They are all so sweet, but two in particular touched me deeply. She was going to have a little surgery. It was going to be under full anesthesia, and as always there was a small change of not waking back up. She wrote 2 letters to me, one with a tiny positive, other with a negative sign at the corner of envelopes. My brother was with her at the time. Letters were given to my brother before surgery. He was going to mail the appropriate letter, depending on her survival. I had received the letter with plus sign at the corner 20 years ago. On the letter, after saying she survived, she was painting our future as a dream slowly coming true, professing her love passionately. Later, I found and opened the other envelope too, with the minus sign at the corner. This envelope was ticker. There was a recently bought life insurance policy on her name, and I was the sole beneficiary. There was a letter from her too. That was a very loving and sad letter. She was telling me to enjoy my life after her and to finish my education with the insurance money. I couldn't keep my tears from falling. That was the girl I was married. I was living, or I thought I was living, the first letter up until a year ago. Then, a year ago, the harsh reality started to set in. The girl I was married is dead in a way as in the second letter now, and I am missing her dearly even if she was an illusion. I couldn't keep myself from replying to those letters 20 years later. I don't know. Was I torturing myself further, or was it the part of my mourning, recovery process? I am really touchy today. Few months later. Court date was today, and I am a divorced man now. I can write pages more, but I am not going to. I am not sad, I feel just blank. A year later. This guy has a role in why my family is here today. He is one of the guys that my wife cheated on me with. He knew that my wife was a married woman. In fact, when we first met, I was with my wife, and that was the first time he saw my wife. Then, during his affair with my wife, I learned that he was also with or engaged or married with that doctor girl. Later I learned that he was married to a doctor and had 3 kids, which I don't know if she is the same doctor girl, but given the time frame it is her. I see her almost every other day because of kids. She is taking more me time. She is 45 years old. She takes advanced biking classes or sailing classes, follows the concerts and shows in our city. Anything available in the city that week for upper-class well-earning people who are not married with children are under her radar. She eats out more than she eats home. Actually, she doesn't have a home. She put our whole home in a storage and now has a bed in her mom's home when she needs it, but she also has the opportunity to spend the night in somebody else's home and bed. And I am pretty sure that you can consult her about the hotels, spas, and massage deals around our city if you need an informed and experienced opinion. She is registered in a gym, seeing and paying for 2 psychiatrists simultaneously, basically for their recreational input to her life. These are only a small part of the new things she is apparently enjoying that she didn't have when she was married with me and living with our 2 toddlers up until 2 years ago. She does not seem to have a solid relationship with a new man except her 15 years younger, undereducated, undergroomed, very under everything according to her public standards F0CK body whom she exposed my kids to. She is a great mom when she shows up, singing to the kids, taking them to malls, buying everything they ask, but then leaving them behind at my home in tears at night. I have no chance to know now who fathered my aborted baby 3 years ago. I'd still raise her as mine regardless of if I had the chance. That baby would only make my life better no matter what. I informed the authorities about the doctor who performed the abortion. He is pretty upset about it. I'll let you know about the result when it is available. My kids are affected and scarred for life, especially the older one, 7 years old now. He is registered as having exceptionally high IQ and eligible for special education. But having a broken family life turns even that to a handicap. He is more aware, more sensitive, more vulnerable. He is referred to a child psychologist by his teacher for being depressed and distant in the class. He still sometimes goes to bed crying quietly after saying I miss my mommy, and sometimes I see him waking up crying for no apparent reason. My health is better. I cut down drinking to recreational levels. Most importantly, I am back to work and excited about what am I working on. As before, I enjoy my work. Besides some other little flings, I met a 36 years old nice woman. She had no kids, never married, and was aware that I have 2 little kids. After I said to her that I don't want to marry again, I don't plan to have more kids, and I don't want to bring a stepmom to my home for the next 20 years, she said that we shouldn't go any further, and I agreed. I guess I am not ready for another serious relationship yet. 5 years later. After 5 years since my divorce, thinking all is over, having a normal day-to-day life with my kids, at last, I am back. Now my covert narcissist ex-wife is married to someone in another country, and wants to take my kids there with her to her new husband's home. My daughter is almost 8 and son is 11. We have 50-50 custody of the kids, but kids stayed with me and mommy showed up only during weekend. Despite all my efforts to make her spend more time with kids, taking kids to a mall for a movie and a fast food meal, before bringing them back, calling her style fun parenting. I think me, my kids, and the new lucky husband of hers are up to some serious crap. I have a good lawyer who got me the 50-50 shared custody through a very clever use of law and pursuing our good-hearted judge in that direction. I was the second father in the country who was awarded that right. Local law awards the custody only to one parent alone, but EU law is above the local law. Some legal quirk which is not related to divorce but to children's benefits allowed that to happen. My lawyer also had won the first case for her own divorce, despite local law automatically awards her, the mother, full custody of children younger than 10. She believes and acts accordingly that divorce separates parents, not the children. I am grateful to her for that. Idea of giving parents the shared custody is letting them to continue working together for children's good and keeping both in their lives. Judge put his trust on us that we can manage our differences and take care of children together without ending up in front of his desk again. I hope we don't have to go back to court again. I don't expect anyone to go back and read my whole story, so I better make a clarification. Although some parts of our story take place in US, we are not in US, and that other country which my wife wants our kids to take is, in fact, USA. My comment: speak to a lawyer as soon as possible to stop her from taking your children out of the country before she flees with them. If they have passports, put them in a safe place. If they don't have passports, only the custodial parent can apply for one. If you share custody, both parents must sign for approval. Notify the bureau before she tries to get passports fraudulently. Hopefully, she'll leave with her new OM and you'll be rid of her forever.